Ahead this morning, plans to honor a Georgia Marine killed in Chattanooga. We've got the latest developments in the shootings.
If they don't care about whether the resident had a roof over their head, they sure don't care about whether they have air flowing in this building.
Plus, residents of the Friendship Towers high-rise say they're still living without air, and they want members of the church associated with the building to hear from them directly.
And the trial of accused cop killer Jamie Hood will soon be in the hands of the jury. We've got a review of yesterday's closing arguments. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Blaine Alexander has the morning off, and we're kind of repeating what we saw yesterday in terms of weather.
Yes, I'm meteorologist Tracy Humphrey here, and you know what? We'll start off talking about our weather. It is going to be another mild and warm start to the day. And as we move into the late afternoon, it will be another hot one indeed. Here is a look outside, and it's hard to find anything wrong with it, but I'm also inside an air-conditioned building. So, of course, I'm not going to find anything wrong with it. It is 80 degrees outside right now with just a few clouds in play. Winds out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Here's a look at the breakdown today. By noontime, temperatures expected to be near 90 degrees. 4 o'clock in the late afternoon, 93. Now, that is not your heat index. That is your air temperature. Once you couple in the humidity, it will feel as hot as 100 degrees today. 7 o'clock tonight, we are still expecting temperatures in the lower 90s. And do note, I do have a thunderstorm cloud in there. With the daytime heating and that humidity, we could see a passing shower or thunderstorm in the forecast again for today. I mentioned the heat index. Well, take a look at the areas that are shaded here, the counties in our viewing area. Meriwether, Lamar, Troup, those counties will definitely have that heat advisory in effect from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock. And they could have a heat index up to 105 degrees. So that's all we've been talking about is the heat. Is there any relief in the forecast? We'll take a look at your 7-day coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Tracy. New this morning, the family of the alleged Chattanooga shooter sending their condolences to the families of 4 Marines and the Navy sailor killed in Thursday's attack. The family released a statement saying that their son suffered from depression. 24-year-old Mohammed Youssef Abdulaziz opened fire at a military recruiting center in Chattanooga on Thursday. He then went on to a nearby military facility where he engaged in a gun battle. 2 of those service members have Georgia ties. Navy Petty Officer Randall Smith died yesterday. He was a 26-year-old logistics specialist, married with 3 small children. He lived in Walker County. Also killed in the attack was 21-year-old Lance Corporal Skip Wells of Cobb County. Now we've learned that Wells will be remembered at a public memorial set for Tuesday. It's at Sprayberry High School where he graduated in 2012. Our Ryan Kruger has a look at how the community is honoring the fallen Marine.
Outside Sprayberry High School, you'll find this growing memorial. Every few minutes, someone like Anna Lindbergh stops by to drop off a token of her appreciation. All for a man she never knew.
I don't like that it's happening, especially to our men who are willing and women who are willing to serve our nation. And I felt for his family, and I just thought that a nice memorial might help them through.
It was at Sprayberry High School where Lance Corporal Skip Wells began his military career. He served here in the ROTC. Harvey Pfeiffer, himself a Vietnam vet, was also compelled to stop by.
This young man is from my community. And I just felt the need after watching some of the reports that I needed to come out, see the memorial.
If his high school is where Skip Wells' love for the military began,
on you
could say Kennesaw Mountain is where it flourished.
Lives were lost on this mountain to make the United States who we are today.
Wells volunteered here, and to stay in shape for the Marine Corps, he often hiked the trail. In that spirit, his friends, fellow service members, and people he never knew made the hike on a hot summer day. They raised money for his funeral expenses and remembered a man taken too soon.
There's no better way to honor someone who's fallen than doing something that they love. And for me, this is the best way of doing that.
Well, funeral arrangements for Wells are still pending. Make sure that you stay with 11alive.com for the latest information on plans to honor those fallen service members. There you'll also find the newest developments on the Chattanooga shooting. Again, that's only on 11alive.com. Well, senior citizens are waging a new battle this morning against the church that runs the Atlanta housing tower that they live in. Residents of Friendship Towers have been complaining for weeks about having no air conditioning and terrible living conditions. 11Alive's Chris Hopper is live this morning near Morehouse College. Chris, the group is gathering to take a stand this morning.
Jennifer, in about a half an hour from now, tenants at Friendship Towers will gather right here on this corner and then march into that building for a Friendship Baptist Church service to try to get the attention of the people who run their apartment building. Those people, they say, who are unwilling to help them up to this point to improve their living conditions. And for the last 2 months, we've been telling you about the living conditions at Friendship Towers. Residents say the air conditioning still doesn't work. Some days it reaches 90 degrees in the building. A judge ruled last month Friendship Baptist Church had to clean up its act, but residents say nothing's changed. So they're marching to service this morning, hoping someone will listen.
I'm still here, burning up. It is hot. You know, I don't know when we're gonna get any relief. Doesn't look like it because no one cares.
And a judge ruled last month that the church has 60 days to get this problem fixed, to fix that air conditioning. And that judge said he's going to be touring Friendship Towers again sometime this month before July wraps up. As for the march this morning, they're going to be gathering here about 9:45, and they should be marching into that building about 10 o'clock. Jennifer?
All right, thank you so much, Chris. We'll see you again later. Right now, police are searching for the hit-and-run driver who killed a man walking in southwest Atlanta. Investigators tell us that the victim was walking on the sidewalk of Cleveland Avenue around 1 this morning when he was hit by the car. The driver then ran off into the woods.
We've got the hit-and-run investigators that respond out to fatalities like this, and so they're going to be working through the leads and the witnesses and all the evidence that's left on the scene, and hopefully we'll be able to make an arrest on it very soon.
Authorities have not released the victim's name or a description of the suspect. Tomorrow, the jury is expected to begin deliberating in the trial of accused cop killer Jamie Hood. 11Alive's Kevin Roberson was in the courtroom yesterday as both sides presented their closing arguments.
Ugly lies. Whether it was opening statements, testimony, or summation, Jamie Hood, the accused cop killer, rambled, at times incoherently, to the jury about his defense in this case. He says it is alibi and justification.
Let me tell y'all something. When I say justification, I'm in no means saying it's okay to do what I've done. I'm not saying my defense is justification to say it's okay. I'm showing you why.
He said it was police corruption, that an officer misused his badge to set in motion a deadly chain of events in 2011. That officer, he said, was Tony Howard, who he shot and wounded, then killed Officer Buddy Christian.
Whatever I get, I deserve. I can't blame nobody.
District Attorney Ken Malden said those were the first words spoken by Hood after he surrendered to police.
From every point after that, he has blamed everybody else but himself.
Hood says there are a lot of things he is, but one thing he's not.
I'm a monster. I'm heartless. I'm a malice murderer. I'm a cop killer. I would not wear that title, cop killer. Under no circumstance, I would not wear that.
The jury is expected to begin deliberations Monday. If they find Jamie Hood guilty, there will be a second phase of this trial in which the jury will decide between a life and death sentence. In Athens, I'm Kevin Roberson for 11Alive News.
New this morning, a fire destroyed a clubhouse at an apartment building in DeKalb County. No one was injured in the blaze. It happened near Juliet Road in East Ponce de Leon in Stone Mountain. When firefighters arrived around 5:45, they found the clubhouse engulfed in flames. There's no word yet on what caused the fire, but officials on scene say an investigator is on the way. In Henry County, friends and family packed the Hood Street Art Center to say goodbye to sculptor Andy Davis. He died last week after he was hit by an alleged drunk driver. Many attending the memorial walked around barefoot, which was part of Davis's signature style. The studio was filled with his art, with people bringing in pieces they own to create a gallery to his achievements.
It's great to see that he touched a lot of other people, and he made a lot of people very, very happy, and he's going to be very, very missed.
Last month, Governor Deal tapped Davis to create a life-size statue of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The bronze sculpture was to stand in Liberty Plaza on the Capitol grounds. In Fulton County, the community came together for a Stop the Violence march in honor of Art Danetta Hobbs. 9 years ago, Hobbs was abducted from her southwest Atlanta home. Her car was found abandoned and torched on Fulton Industrial Boulevard. To this day, her body has never been found. Her mother hopes the march will reignite public interest and generate fresh leads.
They are aware they have a suspect But she's incarcerated, but no one would come forward. We just hoping someone would come forward and tell. Maybe someone knows her body, and I'm pleading that they would come forward.
Well, Hobbs' disappearance remains unsolved. If you have any information, you're asked to please call Atlanta Police. We've got an update on the Gwinnett County mother fighting an aggressive flesh-eating bacteria. Cindy Martinez is expected to come home in a few weeks. Yesterday, Hebron Baptist Church in Decula hosted a fundraiser for her family. The money will go towards remodeling the home in preparation for Cindy's return. She recently underwent multiple amputations of her lower legs, right arm, and left hand. Her husband says she's still remaining positive.
The hardest thing for her at this point is to be so long in the hospital bed and not being able to move. So her being able to see the kids brings her back to reality and know that, everything's going to be okay once she comes home.
Well, Cindy has been in the hospital for the last 2 months. Coming up after the break, two groups clash over the Confederate flag at the South Carolina Capitol. And new revelations from Bill Cosby's own words, how he hid payments made to the women he slept with. Plus, Tracy's in the Weather Center looking ahead to your forecast.
Well, we will again expect a very hot afternoon across the area. Here's a look at our wazometer for today, and that's where we break down your weather from 1 to 11, with 11 being the best. Today is going to be a 7. Afternoon highs in lower 90s, the possibility of an afternoon shower or thunderstorm. And keep in mind the heat index, what it will feel like, near 100 degrees again today. Coming up, something we don't talk about too much, heat-related illnesses. How do you know when you have the symptoms of heat exhaustion? I'll let you know right after the break.
South Carolina police had their hands full with 2 opposing demonstrations at the State House yesterday.
People power!
5 people were arrested as the KKK and a group called Black Educators for Justice rallied on opposite sides of the Capitol grounds. The Black Educators rally gathered around several speakers shouting Black Power. On the other end of the Capitol, a North Carolina branch of the KKK protested the removal of the Confederate flag. State police say the 35 Klansmen were outnumbered by the hundreds who heckled them until they left the State House grounds. New revelations involving Bill Cosby this morning. In a deposition published by the New York Times, Cosby says he paid women after having sex with them. He also says he funneled some of those payments through his agent so his wife wouldn't find out. Dozens of women have accused the 78-year-old Cosby of drugging and sexually assaulting them. Donald Trump started another political firestorm yesterday, this time questioning Senator John McCain's war record. Trump said he, quote, likes people who weren't captured, end quote, and that the 2008 Republican presidential nominee is not a war hero. McCain, a former naval pilot, was shot down and spent almost 6 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Later in the day, Trump tried to walk back his comments on Twitter, saying, captured or not, all of our soldiers are heroes. Well, still ahead for you this morning, a UGA football player in the headlines in a good way, but it's not for his work on the field. We'll show you what he's up to coming up. And it's National Ice Cream Day. We'll help you celebrate with a breakdown of where you can find some sweet deals. Plus, Tracy has your forecast. All of that's coming up for you after the break.